Aloha, folks. It's Antonio with HypnosisProductReviews.com. Today, I've got a very special friend and guest, Kevin Lepine, making a whole bunch of noise over there. How you doing, Kevin?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so quick backstory. Kevin is, I've told a couple people this, he's the first person that hypnotized me, other than maybe a friend, the first professional that hypnotized me. 2000, God, that'd be like 2005, I think.
It would have been 12 years ago, so figure 2005.
Okay, it was actually at Cliff Bell's, and I had a friend that told me, and I had a friend that knew I was, I guess you'd call it obsessed with hypnosis, a huge hobby, and told me they were doing a stage hypnosis show at Cliff Bell's. I still remember the bit you did with the tissues, the $100 bill.
That's actually been a staple of my show for a very, very long time.
I can see why, and it
it continually evolves, but always been one of my my favorite parts in the show.
The one thing before we get to the whole the meat of the podcast, the one thing I love about your act, and I've heard you talk about this numerous times, is you would never have somebody do something that you wouldn't have. I think you said your mom or your grandma do.
My rule is always really simple as a stage hypnotist. Is one, if you're doing an adult show, you have to make it clear you're doing an adult show. It's not an adult show. You should make that clear as well. But my number one rule has always been, if it was your mother, your daughter, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend, or God forbid, if it was you in that chair, would you be pissed about what's happening? The answer is yes. Don't do it.
Yes, have respect for people.
You treat them with the respect you want to be treated, and odds are you're never going to fail. One of the big problems that I see with a lot of people is I actually brought up something to a hypnotist that I didn't think was the right course of action in their show. And as they're debating this with me, my question then became, well, you have a 19-year-old daughter. How would you feel if your daughter was doing that? And his response was, well, my daughter would be smart enough not to volunteer for a show like mine. And that was heartbreaking for me to hear.
It doesn't feel congruent.
And it shows a deep lack of integrity for what you feel is a good and bad thing, or proper and inappropriate thing for somebody to be doing.
That almost seems like it borders somebody that's sociopathic. It's like you have a lack of regard. I don't know if I want to go that far, but it's lack of regards for somebody.
It's definite lack of regard, and it's putting your ego over your judgment. And that's always a problem. You know, ego he stands for edging God or edging God out, and it's a way of pushing yourself away instead of enduring yourself.
You should always hold, my whole thing is you should always have somebody leave your presence better than when they first met you.
Definitely. And everybody on your stage, everybody in the audience looks at everybody on your stage as a representation of, oh my God, that could have been me.
Yeah.
Now, I do an adult show. People do adult things in my show, and I make it clear you're going to do adult things. But there's still a high level of respect and regard that I have for my volunteers. And I make sure that they're never going to put themselves in a situation where they're going to feel regretful about what they've done.
Yeah, so like you can push the envelope a little bit, but you're not doing it in a way where it's really, really vile. Or like what I had when I interviewed Mark Savard about 2 or 3 years ago, he talks about how people complain about how his show's very dirty, etc. And he said, you're the one that's doing your imagination as you're watching it. So basically, as hypnotists, you're controlling. Did this freeze up? Oh, no.
No. There's also something very important to be said for informed content if you're doing adult material. Yeah, I don't ever say, when I'm doing my adult show here in Texas, I don't tell people that hypnosis is a rated family show. It has it all over that's recommended for 18 and over. I curse like they're commas, and I make it really clear. If you volunteer for my show, you're going to do some fun, funny, and adult things up here. I make that very clear.
As being a volunteer for you many, many years ago, I can definitely attest to the fact that me, I do not like getting up in front of people. My anxiety is way better than it ever used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But at no point did I think I was nervous. You had us doing a couple bits. You had one person doing Britney Spears dance from what I can remember. At no point did I ever feel really – I didn't feel embarrassed. I might have felt a little on edge because I had anxiety naturally, but I didn't feel like you were trying to trot people around, make an ass out of people.
There's two sides to that. The first side is that everything I do is based on you feeling good for doing it. And you will feel good for doing it. The other side of it is making sure that Jerry Seinfeld has a great line. Seinfeld said that the number one fear in America is public speaking. Number two is death, which means if you're at a funeral, you would rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy. And for the majority of people, that is very true. The fact that you walked up on stage means you have put yourself in the most uncomfortable position I could ask somebody to put themselves in. If I respect you for that and I treat you well for it, you're going to go under easier, you're going to be more responsive, and you're going to have a good time. If you have a good time on stage, everyone has a good time watching.
Before we get to the meat of the podcast, I'll make one quick point. You remember this from HypnoThoughts last year. Long story short, Ken Guzzo, I was a demo subject, one of his classes, helped me to clear up just a bunch of emotional baggage from many, many years ago. And I always had a fear of being judged. And then last year, after his class, like, oh my God, I have this weight off my chest. So they're supposed at HypnoThoughts Live, they're supposed to have a how do you call it, a pajama party.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. You remember this? I couldn't find any pajamas, so I went to my girlfriend looking for pajamas. They didn't have any in the sundries on the little gift shop at the Orleans. So I went up, grabbed my girlfriend's freaking. You remember this? Put the beach dress on, shot down there. And the thing is like I would never have done that normally, and I don't think I'll ever do it again because I'm hairy. I can't pull off a dress. But I remember like going up to you, laughing. And the thing about it, it's like you said when you put yourself out in that position, I think it helps you to push past your comfort zone.
Yeah,
and you're right about like if somebody goes on the stage, if you're treating somebody with respect, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get more cooperation out of them.
Always.
But yeah, just hold on to that memory of me in Vegas. That definitely will never happen again. Let's see. So we're here to talk about his No Bull Hypnosis conference coming up.
Yes.
I love the premise of it.
So the premise and the whole idea behind it, it's February 9th through Opinions Casino Hotel. We have 3 different price bird pricing the of June. The beginning of July it goes up to $479, and then goes up to $599 in October. And what we wanted to do is, so all of the stage stuff will be taught in my theater up in the meeting room, the ballroom up there. And this way, what we wanted was at least 5 speakers in each side of the industry. And when I call it the No BS Convention, it is because all of the speakers have been vetted in their topic. These are not people who are talking talk. These are people who are walking the walk, people who are doing it every day, people who you can verify exactly what they say they're doing. You can see that they are actually doing it. You can ask questions. You can call people out. You have the opportunity in that audience when you're listening to really get the knowledge you want to get and cut through all the BS to get to it.
So that almost sounds like an industry that has regulations.
In this case, it is an opportunity for speakers to have regulations. I wanted the speakers to be held to a very, very high degree. So the pricing we did for this convention, the reason we're doing it at Binions is because my show is there. We're able to use my theater. We're able to keep the costs down. So I was able to keep the costs down for other people as well, while still being able to bring in speakers that could be vetted, that you could prove, that you could understand. What you're giving me, when you come to this, you're giving me one resource I can never give you back. You're giving me your time. I don't want 1 minute of that time to be wasted. I want you to learn. I want you to get what you need out of this so you can grow, whether it's stage, clinical, or both. And I want you to be able to look at this conference as a chance where you got to meet mentors, where you got to learn, where you got to grow, and you got way more out of it than you invested into it.
Oh, it's brilliant. So now, before this, we actually talked about helping him to come up with a USP. For most people, like he said, it's a very buzzword-esque. A USP is basically, it stands for unique selling proposition, unique selling point. It just helps somebody to stand out, to stand across from the competition, to really
see, okay, now, and mind you, what I'm about to do to you, I'm doing this with love.
Yeah.
You couldn't propose that to me and make it as a speaker for what we're doing. Because when you say USP, when you say unique selling proposition, you're using a lot of buzzwords. And what you're not doing is you're not showing how it is directly a marketable platform. And most importantly, how have you used that USP in order to make a business, to make a brand, and to make a profit off of it? With all of my speakers, that's what they had to be able to do. They had to be able to go, not that I'm going to use these words, not that I'm going to use an industry phrase, but I'm going to show you how it's worked. Now, as a piece of marketing, being able to make yourself unique is very important. That was also something that I wanted with this convention. There are many different styles of conventions. So, in order to stand out in any industry, you don't want to be a watered down version of something else. You need to be the best you there is. So the first thing I knew that I could bring to the table, that I wanted to bring to the table, was I wanted to bring very specialized speakers who were vetted and could be proven in their industry.
I'm going to make a note.
Yep. And as far as a selling proposition, as far as marketing, as far as a brand. So step one, what do we have? We have vetted speakers in both clinical and stage. You can go to nobullhypnosis.com. Once again, that's nobullhypnosis.com. You can see the speaker list. You can see their topics, and you can see where their proof of knowledge comes from.
You know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to do a share screen. Make sure I don't have anything on my screen that is incriminating. Okay, good. Desktop. Share screen. Okay, you can see this right now, right?
I see, yes,
okay.
Something.
You can see the me typing in. Okay, so I'm going to just, I like the whole thing of vetted speakers. When I tell people about, when I'm going to use the word USP, when I tell people how to make themselves definitely unique and not watered down, a lot of people, I've done this before, a lot of people think that every hypnotist is their customer. Not every hypnotist is your customer. So I mean, if you what would be your ideal customer, or your ideal customer for this training? Your ideal hypnotist?
Well, right off the bat, we are not doing a lot of what I would call 100 level or basic level courses. In a lot of ways, if you're coming because you want to learn what a convincer is, or if you want to learn what a type of induction is, this might not be the training for you. You know, our training, this conference is going to assume that you've done some shows, or if you're on the clinical side, it's going to assume that you've been doing some clinical work, and on either the stage or the clinical side, you want to grow from where you are.
I'll just type this, that.
My customer is an experienced hypnotist.
Ah. Experience. It definitely nails it down.
And you don't have to have a lot of experience. But for example, with the clinical side, we have a few different speakers who are speaking on things like how to get high-end clients, how to grow an industry with high-end clients. We have a lot of talks on how to get referrals from other medical professionals. We have topics on how to treat different types of addictions. We have Scott Sandlin as one of our speakers, who, as you know, has been running a clinic for many years with proven results and a high success rate. We also have William Arundel, who's a licensed social worker. He ran the largest inpatient recovery center in the state of Louisiana. He was the clinical director for years before he just decided to go into his own private practice, where he is regularly seeing clients for 40 hours a week with a very full schedule. And you've got Richard Nongard teaching technical hypnotherapy. You've got Martin Peterson, who's going to be talking about how he lands high-end contacts as well as different procedures he uses. All this, of course, is also on the website, No Bull Hypnosis. On the stage side, you have myself, my wife Emily, who has been in Hypnosis Unleashed for over 6 years, is going to be talking about how to work with an assistant, which I think for hypnotists is also very, very important. Emily, for those of you who don't know, also has her theater degree, and she has her theater certification as well from Del Arte, which is a physical improv school outside of California. Amazing school with amazing alumni. She's also going to be teaching how to use improv and improv games to generate new and unique material. You have Kelly Caro, who's going to be speaking on developing a strong stage persona. And for those of you who remember Dr. Scott, Scott credited Kelly a lot with him being able to develop a strong persona. You have Nadine Manuel, who is going to be talking a lot about how she performs, how she presents different material. As you know, she does cruise ships very, very well. You have Mark Savard, Mark and I are right now talking about a few different topics. Topics he's not going to talk about, I will. Topics I'm not going to talk about, he will. So we're working on the topics between he and I. And we have Richard Nongard, who's going to be talking about how to write press releases that actually get read. I mean, that's a huge thing in this industry. It's one thing to write a press release. It's another thing to get it out there. You're talking about a guy who's got some amazing national media exposure. So you can see the schedule, you can see the speakers, you can see their topics, and you'll see why these people are vetted, and you should be listening to them when they talk on those topics.
This definitely sounds like it sounds almost not so much a hypnosis conference, except for like the clinical. I'm sure, yeah, the clinic, but it's more of the it doesn't really, like you said, it's not the 100 course. It's not the actual therapeutic material. It sounds more like the stuff you need to sustain a business.
Yes, this isn't the, I've always wanted to get into hypnosis. I'm going to go there and I'm going to learn a little bit about hypnosis. We assume that you already understand hypnosis. If you think of hypnosis as a toolbox, you're going to be going there to get some amazing tools to put in that box from craftsmen who are full-time professionals.
Awesome. Now, let's actually dig in. I'm going to start typing some stuff away. I know you said that for the top 10 reasons why people need to attend the No Bull Hypnosis Conference, one is everybody's vetted.
Yep, vetted speakers.
Vetted speakers. What's the next one? Let's just rifle off 10 of them.
Okay, so we have vetted speakers. We also have I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Okay, so vetted speakers, very focused topics.
Focus topics. Very are you talking like very focused, almost like niche down?
Very, very. When you look at the schedule, you'll see the different topics that are up there. You'll see what you're. Oh, okay. Very focused topics. along with, so number 3 would be understandable goal achievement.
Understandable goal achievement?
Yes, and now let me explain what I mean by that. So, under each speaker, there is the name of the topic. So here's what my speakers had to be able to present to me. Name of the topic, length of the topic, what you will actually learn. What I have on each one, you will understand that if you take this 2-hour course, you will come out learning the following things. That was important to me. There have been too many instances where people, instead of teaching, were spending their speaking time trying to push another training module.
Okay. Oh, so you're gonna say that? So is it free from pitches or very light?
What I will say is, if you're doing a 2-hour topic, an hour and 45 minutes has to be dedicated to that topic, not to selling something else.
Okay, so yeah, I almost thought of a word of it, like it's like very concrete. People know exactly what they're gonna get.
Yes, you will see on each topic what you will learn. And I think that's very important that people because I'm not going to take a course if I don't understand what I'm going to learn from being in that course. Each speaker had to prove their expertise, which goes into vetted. They had to give me a very focused topic, and they had to be able to concretely explain what you will get out of having attended that specific talk.
I know another feature I think makes yours very, very unique. How many top hypnotists would you say perform in Vegas?
Well, there's only 3 hypnosis shows here in town on a night.
Okay. So how many? So 2 of you guys from Vegas are going to be at this conference.
Yes, and if I can somehow kidnap one of Anthony's Lamborghinis and make him show up there in order to get it, there'll be 3, but that'll never happen.
Okay.
Anthony is also a very, very dear friend. Anthony just does not want to. He's got no desire to speak at conferences. I will always extend the invitation, and he is always more than welcome. But that's his personal choice. He just doesn't. He doesn't get enjoyment from that.
You know what? I've talked to him about that before. It seems like I'm sure he loves his field, because his field's definitely made a name for himself, done really, really well for himself. But it seems like he doesn't seem like the person that really wants to mingle around conferences too much.
And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I will say this. I hang out with a lot of amazing performers. That's one of the great things about living here in Vegas. And there is really that chance to hang out with a lot of people. And Anthony is actually a very, very, very giving person, but he doesn't really want to put himself in that teaching arena at the time. Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Let's see. Okay, so you got 2 of the biggest top stage hypnotists. What else? What's another thing that's a benefit people get, or something that only your conference, only the No Bull Hypnosis Conference can give to people?
Oh God! On the clinical side, I've got the former clinical director of the largest addiction recovery center. I have.
What was that again? Former director.
Clinical director of the largest addiction recovery center in Louisiana.
And I can imagine that Louisiana has a pretty bad problem with addictions. I would imagine, I don't know about alcoholics, but I would imagine I've known people that have lived there that were talking about being real bad pain addiction or pain pill addiction.
Oh, well, I mean, for God's sakes, it was located right outside of New Orleans. Yeah, they were dealing with everything. We've got speakers who, in fact, I believe this might even be Nadine's first conference. You know, I mean, you've got a speaker right there who does high-end presentations for worldwide audiences.
So with high-end clients.
Well, okay. For example, you have Martin Stig Pearson, who's going to be talking about landing high-end clients, because that's what he does now when he's not training. He doesn't work with just clients and off the street. I mean, he's working with people who have to be referred, and he's working with big money clients.
Oh, so they're basically vetted before they even get to him.
Right. You know what? Erase 5 and 6, and let's say this.
Okay.
So we have some of the most consistently booked and in-demand hypnotherapists and therapists working in the field.
There. Oh, good. Didn't do one grammar mistake. Fingers typing away.
That I would definitely say.
Sweet.
You know, the other thing is, I try to honestly make this the best value that I could. My goal in this wasn't to make a fortune off of it. Really, when you look at what other hypnosis conventions charge for who we're having and what we're doing, we are very, very much underselling.
No, how much is it again? Because the audio skipped earlier.
It's $350 until July 1st. And then from July 1st through, I think, October 1st, it's $479.
So if people are watching that video, go to that link. So $350 until July 1st. That's damn great value.
Yeah, and then after that, it's still only $479 until mid-October.
Okay. Any other ones you think you can rifle off?
And also, once again, that's one of the reasons why we're doing it in Binions, is by doing the show there, we were able to keep the cost down. We were able to make it effective for people. You know, and hey, there's always a reason to go to Vegas.
True. You know,
if those reasons right there
aren't enough,
if that isn't enough, then I'm not really sure what is. You know, I'm not trying to. So also, and once again, what I'm saying might be a little bit limiting to the idea of the conference, but I'm not designing this to be a party. I'm not designing this to be a get-together of old friends. I am designing this as a chance for people to really come and really learn. Now, there are going to be some fun activities in there. We are working on doing a poker tournament with Binions, where they started the World Series of Poker. So we're working on setting up a private poker tournament, probably meet and greet that Friday night. Of course, everybody will have tickets to see Hypnosis Unleashed while they're there.
Awesome.
And also, we're limiting it to 100 attendees.
Damn, that's freaking small.
Yeah. I want it limited to 100 attendees because I want everybody to be able to get some one-on-one time with their instructors.
Sweet.
And between having 10 plus speakers and 100 people, I think we can effectively do that.
And how many tracks is it? Clinical stage?
Yes.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do some number crunching right now. Basically, for every reason we're going to go through, and I want you to list it on the on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm sorry, 1 to 5 on the appeal factor. And if something's like, I mean, honestly, like if it's like not as appealing, I already know a couple that look very appealing. And then
to me, the fact that we vetted the speakers, 1, 2, and 3. That right there is really the big thing that we did for this. What we're doing is we wanted very, very specific speakers. You know, I've seen too many things where people aren't able to honestly get the answers to their questions, where they're just not able to really get into a topic and go, well, does this person really have that knowledge, or are they just telling me they have it so they can sell me something?
True, it's a pitch fest.
And that we wanted to avoid. So with vetted speakers and focused topics and understandable goal achievement, this is a conference for you to really come and learn. And that's what I want. See, the other thing with this conference is not only do I have to put in all the time to put it together, I have to put in all the time to be there. So if I'm going to put in all this time, I want to learn some stuff.
Oh, true.
The speakers I'm bringing in are people I'm going to want to listen to and people I'm going to learn from. And there are, and I'm very excited for it.
Good. Now, with that said,
what were you telling me today? Sorry, it's the desert. The wind has been whipping around with the heat. There's just pollen and leaves everywhere.
That's why I can't live there. I would burn up. It's hot here in Kauai right now.
Yeah, we actually went to the top of the mountain for lunch a few days ago, and it was 20 degrees cooler, so it was down to only 100.
Oh my Lord, that's still insane.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's not like Iran. I think they said Iran was like 150 degrees recently. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, no.
That's insane. I better turn this phone off. Somebody's trying to call me. So, okay. So with that being said, vetted speakers on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being top on the appeal. If you were a customer looking at how appealing would you say?
Oh, I would say that's very appealing to me.
So,
but to me, that's really important. When I go to hear somebody speak, it has to be somebody who I know is excellent at what they're doing. There are very, very few speakers that I purposely make time for nowadays, but there are still a handful of people. If I hear they're speaking, I'm going to drop what I do, and I'm going to go and listen to them because I know I'm going to learn.
True.
You know, on that same note, I don't like going somewhere where it's like, well, we're going to have a few different people speak on a few different things. No, I really want to know that my time is going to be well spent with this person. Tell me why this person is worth listening to.
You got to make me want to jump out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to assume you would give that a 5, at least for vetted speakers.
Oh, yeah.
For the on appeal, for the being very focused topics, what would you give that on an appeal, 1 to 5?
I'd give that a 4, and I would give the understandable goal achievement a 5.
Okay. 2 of Vegas's top stage hypnotists.
Okay, so 4 and 5, you can't really put a value on that because for a third of the people attending, it's a 0. For a third of the people attending, it's a 5.
Okay, that makes sense.
And, you know, it's the same with both of those. And then a third of them are going to cross over between the two. And that's why we're doing it that way. That's why all the stage stuff will be taught in the theater and all of the clinical stuff will be taught in the conference room.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, with if I were to pick your brain, that makes sense because I would see that as a 5, but then I realized that some people might not be very interested.
If you had no desire to do any stage work whatsoever, but you wanted to do daily clinical work, then number 4 would be a 0 to you, but number 5 would be extremely important, and vice versa.
Okay, so for, I guess, brevity, what would you give it a rating?
You can't. Because once again, if I'm being honest, 33% of the people attending have no interest in it.
So a 2.5 then?
Kind of.
A half, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll just do it at 2. Because then that makes sense. Yep. Well, for me, I would put number 5 as a 5, but it's going to be half and half.
But once again, now, if you only want to do stage shows, if you have no desire whatsoever to work one-on-one with clients, it's not going
to fluffle your what's that saying? Ruffle your feathers. I almost said fuffle your feathers.
Yep. So I mean, it's one of those situations where, and that's why I wanted the best in both worlds.
Now, best value bang for your buck. What would you rate that as?
Well, that's easily a 4 or 5.
Now, now to run through these real quick and do a rating of how exclusive it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I know sometimes, a lot of times, even when I try to rate my own stuff, it you know, we have our own baby. Sometimes we're impartial. With that being said, on rating on exclusivity, 1 being everybody can do it, 5 being only the No Bull Hypnosis Conference has it. What would you rate these as?
Number 1 is easily a 5.
Okay.
This is something that only we are doing. If you tell me that you have clients that are paying $1,000, $2,000 for a session, you have to be able to show me that. If you tell me you are seeing 40 hours of clients a week, you have to be able to show me a schedule. If you are telling me that you do high-end stage shows, you have to show me contracts. You have to show me, and you have to back up that you really do these things.
That's a solid 5. And the judges give you a solid 5.
And honestly, one of the things that makes that very, very harsh is it's very hard to do that in our industry. And it's hard to do it because immediately you're going to make enemies because of it.
Yeah.
Or if making enemies might not be the right phrase, but you're going to lose friends.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's because we're largely self-regulated.
It's because we're largely self-regulated, and because a lot of people haven't put a business together in such a way that they can prove their claims.
Because everything's real on the internet.
And that's what we needed. Is I needed to be able to go, you know, if you are teaching this topic, you have to show me that you really deal with it. You have to show me real world success. And with a lot of, and that's a very hard thing to do because there are a lot of people who are out there doing very, very successful things. But I'm trying to be politically correct, and that is really not easy for me.
You know, hey, you've seen my Facebook post. So you know I am not politically correct.
Right, but what I mean is there are a lot of people out there who have amazing careers. And let me explain this right off the bat. There is no one path that is better than another one. Headlining in Vegas is not better than going out and doing 200 or 300 high school and college shows. If you enjoy doing high school and college shows, and that's what you want to do, and you want to be the best at it, it is a phenomenal career. Doing what I do in Vegas, this was my dream. This was what I wanted. There is no one that's better or worse than the other. But you can't say, I am trying to achieve being the best in whatever my area of the field is, but I can't prove it, and I can't show that I walk that walk.
That's what I love about this conference. I think one of the biggest points is you have vetted speakers. They basically have to prove to you, you're the gatekeeper.
Yes.
If they can't prove to you, I mean, you're on the back end. You've been in doing stage hypnosis for 12 years.
Oh, no, stage hypnosis for 22 years.
Okay. I know. Well, when I first met you, you were at a converted speakeasy.
Yep. So that show at Cliff Bell's, what that show was, I had just moved back to Detroit. That was actually kind of a homecoming show for me.
I think, yeah. Our mutual friend Trenton had told us about it.
And yeah, that show was a blast. That was actually a very, very big homecoming show for me before I started on a very large guaranteed corporate tour that I was on for about 4 years. You
know how I got to that show? So when I lived in Detroit, I didn't have a car. I would just I work in the bar, so I didn't really want to drive around. I drive my bike everywhere. I worked at a Cass Cafe, or I worked at. You remember Twingo's right next to Cass Cafe?
Yes.
I worked there for a long time, and I didn't. If I was drinking, I didn't want to freaking ride a car everywhere, so I would just have a bike. I remember my buddy told me about it. Buddy Eric that worked at Cliff Bell's. I hauled. Yeah. You remember Eric?
Oh God, yeah. Because not only was Eric at a couple of my parties, he gave me a Tom Waits 45 of Wild Years for my jukebox.
Well, I don't know. I think we might be thinking the wrong Eric. You thinking the bartender Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Big Eric.
Yeah. He gave me a 45 for my jukebox of Tom Waits' Wild Years.
Man, do you know how to get a hold of him? I've been trying. I would love to get. Yeah, he ended up working at the Woodbridge, I think, afterwards. Yeah, we used to call him Big Gay Eric. I don't know why, because one day we was doing door and he had these gloves with the holes cut out. We just call him Big Gay Eric because he obviously wasn't and he could fight. Eric was an awesome guy. I used to work with him at Shelley's off of Michigan and Trumbull. Let me do this. I'm saying, so I basically, when Eric told me about it, I hauled butt up there on my bike.
That was a really fun night.
Oh, it was a blast. I went home and I was like, that's what I mean. I've always loved hypnosis, but that right there got that little spark. Give me the little spark. Mm-hmm. Now, as in terms of appeal for being exclusive of getting a solid understanding of what you'll achieve, what would you rate that as?
I think a lot of conferences try to do that. A lot of conferences definitely have focus topics. I think with ours, though, that I really did kind of make a push with each speaker that you will learn the following things. And I wanted that to be demonstrable, that here are one or two things that you will definitely walk out of here having learned at each topic.
So I would say 4 or 5.
3 or 4.
So if I'm making this sound impersonal. And it's this one actually. I know we were talking about the whole having 2 of Vegas' top stage hypnotists. This might be exclusive to you guys.
No, because Mark and I both are very, very supportive of other conferences.
Oh, no, I mean, no, but I'm talking in terms of actually of two of the stage hypnotists speaking. Oh, no, you did that at HypnoThoughts Live, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Most consistently booked and in-demand hypnotherapists in the field. What exclusivity, what would you give it?
You see, here's the thing. I can't really talk about that one.
Okay.
Because I don't participate in a lot of the clinical side of things. Okay. But I will say that Will does not do very many conferences like this.
I know he did your Will's the one that did the training with you, right?
Yes, he also does the trainings with me because Will is very, very versed in the science of hypnosis. Licensed social worker through Arizona State University, an amazing resume, an amazing reputation. Him being there at my trainings provides an extra level of science, an extra level of understanding, and also because when people come for stage trainings, they do have clinical questions. And he is the best for answering those and to give people information on where to go to learn more if they're going to do that.
I like that. So I think I heard Scott Sandlin talk about or it was Scott Sandlin, or I think it was Nongard talking about if you want to do clinical, learn stage. That way, because
the value for a clinician to learn stage is even if you don't ever want to do a stage show, as a clinician, being able to stand in front of a Kiwanis group, a Lions group, the Chamber of Commerce, being able to stand up in front of a group of prospective clients and do a 20-minute presentation is a fantastic way to get people in the door.
And some of the skill sets, because with stages, you really have to get people into buying into you totally. You got to get them with the positive, negative hallucinations, the different phenomenon. I've talked to a couple. I'm almost positive it was Nongard that talked about how both fields can complement, or both sides complement.
Yes, very, very much so. Also, I think as a stage performer, you should probably take a couple of clinical classes just so you understand where people's brains are going and just to make sure that you're never in a bad situation when you're up there.
Gee. Especially with what's that thing called abreaction? Actually, speaking of abreactions, have you ever noticed many abreactions in a stage show?
When I teach, I talk about abreactions. I kind of roll my eyes at the idea of them.
Is it kind of like a boogeyman?
So I have been doing shows for 20 years. I have been doing shows nightly in Vegas for 7 years. I have easily done, and this is kind of funny, but just going back to the whole thing about credibility and vetting people. Can you do that share screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be a little specific with this.
There you go.
All right, go to your calculator.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Punch in 1 million.
I think I see where you're going with this. Wait, did I do that? Is that 1 million? I think it is, yeah.
That is 1 million. Okay, now let's say you had a 50-year career, so divide it by 50.
Okay.
Okay, that means you've hypnotized 20,000 people a year, every year for 50 years. Divide that between 52 weeks. So that means you've hypnotized 384 people a week. Divide that by 7.
Okay.
That means you've hypnotized damn near 55 people a day, every day, nonstop, for 50 years, if you're saying you've hypnotized 1 million people.
Yes.
Those things that I hate when I see somebody try to say. And the reason I'm bringing that up, so I figured out that I've probably done anywhere from about 4,000 plus shows in my career.
And you've had no abreactions, right?
And in all of the shows I've done, I have seen maybe 6.
Okay, so it's pretty much a non-issue, but I've also heard it depends on the hypnotist if they're causing an abreaction.
Yes, and most abreactions can be headed off at the pass so quickly because you see it, you recognize it, and you get out of it.
The only time I've had an abreaction, which I know you'll have a point of contention with this, I wasn't doing it to make money, but I was doing street hypnosis once,
Okay.
and this lady, I did like eye catalepsy, and I was like, here, try to open your eyes, and all of a sudden she almost started to cry, started like hyperventilating. I was like, here, go ahead, you can open your eyes. And at one point she thought she had the lack of control, which I always, anytime I do any kind of pre-talk, I like to tell people, like, you still have control. You're in complete control. And I tell people that, some people that are scared about hypnosis because they've seen a stage hypnosis show, I tell people it's an illusion of control.
There is definitely a train of thought and a big side to that. That is exactly true. And most of the time when you're near an abreaction, it's very easy to see it starting. It's very easy to pull out of it before it actually becomes a true abreaction.
I'm going to type something down. So the main, I'm going to do some math. So do this, 25. Very focused topics. What do you say? I think it's at 4. Focus topics. 24. Understandable goal. Solid goals. 20. I better be able to do this math in my head.
What are you multiplying it by?
Oh, I'm basically multiplying the two numbers by each other. Like, we rate it on a scale of how appealing is something and is it exclusive to you. So I multiply them by each other.
I'm just not sure how you got the number 24 for focus topics.
Oh, shoot. Damn it. I thought I just, was that 16? Yeah. Man, gotta love the fact I went to public education. So basically, what makes your conference I guess the biggest is is because only you have a completely vetted every single person that has focused topics, and they're able to present people with a solid track of what they're going to be learning.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, it's my reputation on the line with this as well. And that's the big thing, is I'm putting my reputation on the line, and I'm saying that I will make sure that the speakers that we have are able to do this.
And here's something else, a little fun formula I've actually used for myself. I did not invent this. It's from a copywriter, Kevin Rogers. Has some pretty easy to digest material. Basically, this is a way where I've it's not a mission statement, but a way to tell people what you do in 2 sentences. For me, mine is my name's Antonio Perez. I love hypnosis and personal development, but was fed up with seeing hypnotists struggling to sell their products and fill their workshops. So I created the Hypnosis Product Reviews podcast to help them market their products and review their products. You want to play fill in the blank?
Yeah, my name is Kevin. I love hypnosis, but I was fed up with BS claims.
It's Kevin. My name is Kevin, and I love hypnosis.
But I was fed up with all the...
Man, my fingers can't type as fast as I thought. I love hypnosis, but was fed up with the...
bullshit claims I've heard people make.
The Noble Hypnosis Conference that
allows people to learn from speakers who can prove their results.
Bam! Simple right there. So yeah, my name is Kevin. I love hypnosis, but was fed up with the bullshit claims I've heard people make. So I created the No Bull Hypnosis Conference that allows people to learn from speakers that can prove their results. And how we basically went through what would makes you unique is only you have vetted people with focused topics and solid, and where they're going to learn the solid goals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny is I don't know how I thought about this. I've seen you talk about it a couple of times about street hypnosis. The only reason I've ever done street hypnosis is I was nervous as hell, and I basically wanted to get better with it. And I would never do any kind of clinical stuff in the street because that's just asking for troubles.
Oh God, yeah.
But I would do things like show people simple phenomenon like hand sticks, catalepsy, amnesia, or I would show them like how you can adjust, or you can manipulate an emotional state to kind of bring up feelings of confidence. I would give them basic like suggestions for sleeping good, etc. The one thing I've seen you that you've asked people to be able to prove this claim, and you know where I'm going with this, right?
Go for it.
You can't make it. What was it?
We're gonna go here. Let's do it.
See, you can't really make money with hypnosis. Sorry, with street hypnosis.
No, I have never said that.
Okay.
I've never said that at all.
Okay. I'm gonna make me eat my words.
What I've said is this: there are no such thing as street hypnotists. The reason I say that is very simply because of this reason. A street performer. Now, for performer, you can fill in the blank. Street mime, street magician, street character, street escape artist, street whatever. Whatever you fill in performer. That's how they make their living. They make their living by passing the hat. The talent of the art form of the performer is secondary to the ability to pass the hat and make a full-time living at it. My big thing is this: name 5 hypnotists who make their money exclusively off of the hats they bring in from performing on the street. Until then, you are not a street hypnotist. What you're doing is you are training a group of people who you did manage to stop, not to tip the next stage, the next street performer they see.
Okay.
And I have a lot of friends who are very, very successful street performers. And I really do think somebody could make money at it. I think there could be somebody who really does street hypnosis and could make a great living. I know street performers who make thousands of dollars a week.
Yeah. I think once, I don't know much at all about street performing, very, very minimal amount. I think one thing would help is learning stage presence. I could be wrong, learning how to control a crowd.
There's a very, very big difference between being on a stage as a performer and being on the street as a performer. The two very, very, very rarely intersect. What works on the street does not necessarily work for a paying crowd for different reasons. In a street show, you need to really, 90% of a street show is building up for the hat pitch. You'll watch a performer build and build and build and build and build and build and build, minor payoff, hat pitch. The build isn't to get to whatever you're promising will happen. The build is to get to that hat pitch and to keep people engaged and to use people to gather people to get more people to increase the size of that hat, which is very different than what people want when they're paying, when they're paying to see you on stage. They're already there. They don't want build. They want results.
Oh, that makes sense. You know, the two times, I think I was lucky. 2 nights I made decent money for what you can make doing doing performance. One time, one lady was saying that I think she had a sore muscle, or she stresses a lot. So I did hypnosis, had her feel really relaxed, and then afterwards she threw a crumpled dollar, $1 bill in my bowl. Thank you. Later I went to the bar. I'm like, why is there a $100 bill? She was so relaxed. She accidentally tipped me $100. I felt bad. If I had seen that, I would have been like, hey.
A buddy of mine plays the glass harmonica in New Orleans, and he tells a great story where he's playing the glass harmonica, and he takes requests, and somebody from the back yells, "Play Stairway!" without knowing that he can actually play Stairway to Heaven on the glass harmonica. So he plays Stairway to Heaven, and he's talking with a buddy of his, a couple of buddies, and he turns back, and somebody had dropped a couple of $100 bills into his tip thing. And my buddy sees that, and he goes, "Who did that? I want to go and tell him thank you." His buddy goes, "You didn't see who yelled 'Play Stairway'?" Jimmy Page was there.
Oh, I knew it. That is
just to be a jerk because he hears it all the time. And when my buddy can actually play Stairway, he's like, "Well, so much for me being an asshole. Here you go."
That's awesome. Oh my God! And the only other time I did it was I just thought about this. Where you do the bit like you can only speak gibberish. I made the mistake of saying you can only speak Chinese or whatever, and I didn't think about that in Hawaii. Asians everywhere, so I made that mistake once, never again. And then I did something like you can only speak gibberish. I handed them the tip jar. I'm like, and you have to collect money for your English lessons. Yep. They walked in that right there. $70. That only worked once though for me.
Oh no! Heck, making a hypnotized volunteer collect the money for you is infinitely stronger.
Especially when they're a small kid. No adult wants to tell a small kid no.
But that's the thing right there is, can somebody make a living as a street hypnotist? God, yes. You can make a few $100 a day easily. But my buddy Dante has a great lecture on being a street performer. And he wouldn't let me book him to do his lecture because here's his whole lecture. If you really want to be a street performer, go out for 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, doing 6 shows an hour. After 6 months, you won't be horrible. In a year, you won't be too bad. And in 2 years, you'll know if you should make a living at it. Now go out there and work.
And in the hot Vegas sun, no, thank you. I don't want to take that lesson.
And I mean, that's honestly the truth of it is the guys that I know who make real money out there
have been doing it for a while.
Go out there and work, and they learn what works, what doesn't work, Why does this work? Why doesn't this work? And they'll go through ebb phases. They'll go through ups and downs, trying out new material, trying out new moments. And when they get it down, and what's funny is what you also learn is pitches can be very regional too. What works in Maryland does not work in New Orleans and does not work in Vegas.
I could see that. I want to cover again. So the conference.
Yes.
NoBullHypnosis.com.
Yes.
And the type of people that should not go there, not to do repulsion marketing, but I know you want people that have some experience.
Have a little bit of experience coming in, and everything will make a lot more sense. You don't have to have a world of experience, but this probably shouldn't be your first exposure to the world of hypnosis.
Let me say, even if it happened to be, let's say if somebody didn't watch this interview and they happened to be their first exposure, at least you have vetted.
And what will happen is you'll learn where to learn more from.
I like that.
I was taught this at a very young age. The more you know, the more you know what you don't know. And the example given to me was, if all your knowledge is represented by a small circle, all you see are the little boundaries of that circle. Once your circle gets bigger, the outer diameter of that circle gets bigger, and you see there's a lot more you don't know. The bigger your circle gets, the bigger the diameter of what you don't know gets, and the more you go, all right, I want to go and find out more about this. I want to learn more about this.
It's about pushing past that comfort zone. Yep.
It's funny, but any expert in any field will be the first to tell you what they will be the first to tell you if they don't know something, and they'll be the first to tell you where you can go to learn about it. And
humbleness.
An expert.
And that's why you, Cools, and Savard are all in Vegas.
Well, it's also why me, Cools, and Savard will get along.
Yeah.
Let's go to lunch together. And what's really funny is, for all the times we've gotten together, the one thing we've never really talked about is hypnosis. But what we will talk about is how do you achieve this moment in your show? How do you achieve this? How do you market this? How are you trying to grow with this? The process of how we get people there isn't as interesting to us as how do you get the results you want with the people you have.
The trifecta of you guys. That's one thing I do love is you guys support one another.
God, yes. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's too, especially in this field, like we were talking earlier, that a lot of people call themselves a world famous hypnotist. What did you tell me earlier?
You're not famous unless you're walking down a street somewhere and people regularly know your name.
Exactly.
Not meaning to name drop, but a very good buddy of mine, one of my dearest friends, is the amazing Jonathan. And he is actually one of my favorite people about this, because I don't care how bad of a day he's having. I don't care what's going on. But if you're out with him, somebody will recognize him.
Oh, yeah.
And his ability to graciously meet any fan is awe-inspiring.
I love that bit you guys did on, was it Burn Notice? His podcast?
Burn Unit. Yeah,
Burn Unit.
Yep.
Yes, you were hypnotizing that one guy. It was a great
show.
That
was fun, yeah. Burn Unit was a blast, and when Jonathan and I did it, it wasn't necessarily an episode of Burn Unit. It was two buddies. You got to see the two of us hanging out. We planned nothing, really. We didn't plan what we were going to do in the interview with each other. We just started talking.
So how is he doing now? Is he
fantastic?
Oh, is he doing better?
Fantastic.
Oh, okay, I'm glad to hear that. Dude, ever since I was a kid, I've always loved his material.
Brilliant guy, and one of the most giving human beings I've ever
Very
met.
humble.
Yes, very caring about his fans.
Okay, and then I think I have one last point. I don't know. It's funny. I made the mistake of asking, what's his name? Of asking Anthony Cools to do his version of the Aristocrats. You've heard that joke before, right?
Yeah.
Oh. You don't have your own version, do you?
You know, it's just not my sense of humor.
Okay. You've told me that before.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, it's really that joke is only funny if you're really, really riffing on comedy. Like, if we just spent this entire time talking about what makes comedy, what makes something funny, then I might have that joke at my disposal. But to just bring it out cold, there's nothing funny about it.
Well, we can save that for a future podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, thank you so much. So let's recap. So nobullhypnosis.com. And what is the what are the dates on this again?
February 9th through 11th, 2018 at the Binions Casino. I recommend we will have room rates available soon at the Four Queens for people, which is, if you know Fremont Street, the casinos are really close to each other. Binions currently doesn't have its own hotel.
And as a bonus, anybody that registers, if they contact me, I'll give them a copy of this this interview podcast.
Wonderful.
Oh, thank you, and I hope I'll see you in Vegas. Hypnothoughts coming this year.
I will try to stop by. We've got a lot going on that August, and
busy season.
It's just we've got a lot happening that weekend. I always love supporting anything that Scott does. Scott Sandlin is a great guy. I was very, very honored when as soon as I put out a call for speakers, Scott jumped up and went, "Would you be interested in one of these topics?" I said, "Yes." You know, so yeah, any time that I can lend support to what Scott's doing, I'm glad to.
Well, the thing is, we all have to support each other.
Mm-hmm. Always.
So everybody, get to the conference. If you look above or below, you'll see a link for the conference. And also you'll see a spot where you can, for the newsletter. Subscribe, put your name, email, and you will get a PDF that talks about different ways that you can market products online. It was nice catching up.
My pleasure, brother. Have a great one.
I'll see you. Aloha.
Aloha.